Well, welcome back to this SME edition of Moneymakers. Now, to continue our theme of planning for the year ahead, we're taking a look at some of the common mistakes made when writing a business plan and what exactly bankers are looking for when they review your plan.
Theo Afkoudias from businessplans.com.au joins us in the studio to help construct the perfect plan. Theo, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So tell us, what are the benefits you've witnessed of well thought out, well structured business planning?
Okay, the main one is it aids in resource allocation and preempts a return on the investment in those resources. So really it's just saying, okay, I'm spending money across these areas in marketing, HR operations, and here's what I expect to get in return for that.
Okay. One of the core sections in most business plans I've seen is strategy. What role does that play for the company?
Yep. Okay, basically strategy is the back end of the business plan. So before you get to strategy, you really have done a really good analysis across yourself, your business, the milestones reached to date, as well as a general external analysis. So we've got, you know, you're looking at your competitors, the industry, the market, what the government's doing, which is quite important these days. Any changes in law, again, very important. And given all those things, what are you going to do about it? What are your goals? Are they measurable? What's the timeline to reach them? And who's responsible as well? So strategy really is that, okay, so what part of the business plan and how you're going to respond.
Does that need to involve everyone in the organisation? You mentioned there who's involved and who's responsible. Yeah. Does that mean you need to get input from many parts of the business?
Absolutely. Depending on how large the business is, often look, if it's a 1 or 2 man band, you're wearing different hats, which is quite common. In a larger organisation, you might be lucky enough to delegate out to different business unit managers. So definitely you need input from all staff.
Now, in your experience, you've seen a lot of business plans in your organisation, I'm sure. What are some of the essential elements that are actually missed out by many businesses?
Okay. Basically, a common mistake in the SME market, for instance, is that they might produce a product brochure and call that a business plan. Very not uncommon. So, and that's because of they may have spent years in you know, getting a prototype together, or they've just signed some exciting new distribution contract from a manufacturer, and they think that's all they need. But really, it's getting, it's identifying the business model. So how are you getting that product to market? Who's going to buy it? How do you know? And what money will you make out of it?
Okay. One of the areas of a business plan that is often the most complex to complete is actually that financial section. Sure. What words of wisdom have you got that you can share that will help businesses complete that to make sure they've covered every aspect of it properly? Okay,
they're not my words, but cash is king.
Yes.
Cash is king. So really, look, I'd rather see a really well thought out, detailed cash flow analysis as the first point of call, rather than anything else. So yeah, spend time on the cash flow. That will identify any shortfalls and allow you to respond prior to them coming into being.
Now, business plans naturally rely on a lot of assumptions. You're trying to project forward. No one knows what the future's going to hold. Are there any assumptions that you see businesses commonly make? Do you think, you know, actually they should have gone out to market perhaps and researched that and gone and delved a bit deeper?
The main one is, will customers want their product? Right. Firstly.
Yes. Important.
Important. But I suppose more specifically, the most common assumption is always around market size. And look, there's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with assumptions. As long as at the start of them there is a factual, third-party qualified fact underlying them. And sometimes you have no choice. You might have an obscure product which you want to find out how big the market is. For instance, we've had to find the market size of wine racks in Australia. And, you know, so you start from some real, you know, third-party fact, like how many bars there are in Australia, and build assumptions from there. A rule of thumb with assumptions is that if you're doing that, it's best to start from 2 points of difference. And then so start from one, something factual, build assumptions, get a market size, but then approach from a different perspective as well. And if you end up with the same result, you're pretty much on the money.
Right, okay. Now, many businesses at the moment are experiencing some massive changes in their market. How does business planning accommodate that? It's so unpredictable.
That's right. Look, what a business plan is, you're preempting the future. So really, doing that gives you an opportunity to preempt the future, preempt the market change, and then, of course, allocate some sort of strategy to combat that or prepare for it, really.
Now, some business plans are written specifically to attract new investors, to put their money invested into the business. How do these differ from business plans that are really just going to be used on the day-to-day management of the company?
Okay, a business plan for investors really should focus on the downside, funny enough.
Really?
That's right. So a really, really good what can go wrong, a risk statement, for instance, is very important. And a lot of people searching for funds really just focus on the upside, which says for an investor or potential investor, there is no downside, I'm unaware of it, and that's not a good message. So a really detailed risk analysis, a risk across the market, the business, yourself, actually appeases investors.
Now, you also look at a lot of business plans as an actual investor yourself or on behalf of other investors. What is it when you're looking at that business plan that catches your eye and says, hey, I want to loosen my purse strings and invest in this business?
Well, there's different level criteria that investors look at. First one is the management. You'd want a management which is very industry experienced.
Do they have to have run their own business before?
Not necessarily, but just really had some industry experience. So if you're looking to enter a particular market, you'd want someone who's been in that market, knows it well, has kicked some goals in that market. So that'd be the first thing they look at. Second thing is scalability. So a product that can be sold to numerous markets in numerous countries will attract investors. The robustness of the business model itself. Has the proponent thought about how it's going to get to the market, thought about the distribution strategy, and a good understanding of all the startup costs. And the last one, which usually clinches the deal, is a valuation. Typically, investors and business owners are miles apart on valuation for the business. So realistic valuation, again, based on some sort of research, some sort of comparative company, will help clinch that deal.
Right. There are obviously two big groups of investors. There's the angel investor that's just there to put a little money in. They're possibly a family friend or someone that's known through an acquaintance. Yeah. And then there's the really professional VC end. How do you think it differs when you're trying to pitch a business plan to those two groups? Is it completely different or are they actually very similar?
No, look, they are pretty different. An angel investor is typically more hands-on and often you need a personality match as well. So it's usually the investor and the proponent working together to build the business. So there has to be a personality match there. With the sophisticated guys, again, it's more cut and dry. It's more, okay, who's the management team? What's the valuation? How big is the market? And again, what are the risks?
Okay. Now, if I'm a business owner, which I am, what can I do if I don't have the expertise to complete a business plan? Okay,
look, there's lots of consultants and services out there that will help people. I think a good way to approach our market at businessplans.com.au is to really set in your mind what's your budget for the business plan. They're a piece of string, basically. You can spend, from very little to quite a lot of money on a business plan. Determine how important it is to you, and then go out and speak to a few consultants and just find one that's the right fit for you.